Okay, this thing working? Missing on? Hey, this is CaT. Yeah, this is my first time doing anything like this, so I'm not entirely sure what to say or whatever. So I guess I'll just be walking you through how I do art. That's probably not the correct grammar, but whatever. Okay, so the microphone I'm using, it's just this cheap Walmart microphone, so it's debatable whether you'll be able to hear the static or not. I'll try to edit it out in post, but there might be some static you hear. And I can't really fix that until I get a new mic. And just testing out the tablet there. You can see over on the right I'm messing with the options for inking, which generally people might want to use the brush or the pencil to make sketches, but I don't know, I'm lazy and don't like to switch tools a whole lot. So, tonight I'm just going to be drawing Magnetron, which is, I think, the original name for him. It's an alien from CaT Ultimatrix Unleashed, which was actually one of the first aliens to get a redesign, and one of the only ones to get a redesign that was not featured in Rebooted. Because I remember a lot of Rebooted's original purpose was to redesign the aliens. You can see him sort of drawing it out in thin lines, just thin, fast lines. And really that's the best way to do it for a sketch, as it gives you a bit more, I'm not sure if control is the word, but yeah, control, I guess, over what you're drawing. And I am consulting a notebook for this, because this is one of the occasions where I did draw this out in a notebook first. Which I'll do that sometimes for aliens if I don't have access to a computer when I'm drawing them. Actually, a lot of the extra aliens from Ultimatrix Unleashed were initially designed that way. I have the original sketches still, so maybe I'll upload them sometime. People marvel at how terrible they were. Yeah, speaking of terrible, how's my narration? This has got to be like the most boring thing you've listened to all day. So right now I'm just sort of shaping out the shape, body of the alien, and the details I'll sketch in a bit later, once I have the full body finished. And sometimes I will make changes to the designs from the sketches when I'm translating it digitally. Like, for instance, the design of the notebook is only pointed with the torsos there. They don't really have flat corners. I'm pointing at the screen even though I know you can't see me. Oh, duh. They don't really have these. They're more pointy like that. And I think I'll probably do the bottom segment like that. And usually, I'll just draw one half of an alien and then copy and paste it. Because, a lot of aliens are symmetrical, but, sometimes I'll do this because it's easier to draw, a perspective than drawing two identical sides. And it is a bit more dynamic for posing. If that's a word I want to use. I'm not entirely sure here. But yeah, this redesign is for the CaT renovation project. And is heavily heavily influenced by his original redesign, which I believe was during Combalian Evolution. I don't know if that looks quite right. See, nice thing about sketches, you can just do all sorts of stuff to them, like flip them and stuff. And if they look weird, whatever, it's just just a sketch, you can sort of fix that up. I am using a tablet for this. I didn't really use a tablet for most of my stuff, actually, because I only got it recently. It was like late November. And I have made some art since then, which you might have most noticed a bit of a change in. And that's mainly due to the tablet. And I'm not sure how well this is going to turn out. Okay. Now that we have the general legs defined, go back to the arms. I always put off doing the hands and the feet until the last possible moments because they're the hardest things to draw. Any artist will tell you that. They are the biggest pains. And you might be wondering why I'm moving this off to the right of the screen. That's because I am, well, right-handed, obviously. And I'm working mostly with the right side of my tablet, which corresponds to the right side of my computer screen. So yeah, those points when I stop drawing are just when I'm looking back at the design in the notebook just to make sure I'm staying on model. And off here, and you might be noticing that this sort of draws a bit of inspiration from Racoustic's segmented appearance, which I'm not sure if that was initially the intention or not, but I don't know, either way, it's pretty obvious here. Okay, so there's a flat point there. Let's see. That doesn't look like quite right. Let me just select that. Oh, yeah, nice thing about GIMP, the program I use is GIMP 2.8. You can zoom in and out like all you want. It goes up to 25,600% and out to 0.319%. So yeah, it's pretty handy. Try to not get too much of the chest in there. Okay, now I can just move this. And see, since this is a sketch, I can just, like, I know this all looks wrong over here, but since this is just the sketch, I can clean that up when I get to it. Smaller. Set up a bit. And, yeah, I am recording this kind of late at night for my time zone. It's, well, that. 10:40, okay. Dang it, time always moving around on me. Okay, yeah, the feet are usually easier to do than the hands, because if you've noticed, pretty much all my aliens are wearing some sort of boot. And main thing was that is just to try and get the sort of perspective down right on that. Threads. And the, like the bottom half of the legs down, I'm just sort of coming up with as I go, because the initial sketch did not include those parts. Because I am very poor at space management on paper. Or anywhere really, but especially on paper. That. And yeah, you'll also probably notice that most of my aliens keep their hands, like, constantly clenched in a fist. That is also because it is far easier to draw. Drawing the thumb on there, probably pop in some lines. Boom, sort of a robotic thing. Or maybe he's just a hipster wearing fingerless gloves, I don't know. Now, if you're wondering why I haven't done the other arm yet before doing this, there's actually a very simple explanation for that. It's because I'm lazy, and I'm just gonna basically just copy-paste this arm over there and mess with the perspective a bit. And, it won't look like exactly that on the final product, because, the final line art is obviously going to look a lot better than this. really do not have much to talk about this time around. That's why I sort of asked for ideas, because I have very few of my own. I mean, I guess I could always talk about, I don't know, Tech 10 trivia. Doubt many of you are actually really interested in that, but... Yeah, the original Tech, it was basically, I've stated this before, it was just an author stand-in character, like Mary Sue, which is kind of funny looking back on it, because he was really kind of a jerk. That's especially shows up in the Colossal Christmas crossover, which I still maintain my opinion as being the best crossover on the wiki. I think we should probably do another one like that sometime, just have every series come together, like battle villains and whatnot, as giant thing. I remember the quote section of the episode was actually a lot more like a role-playing section, if that makes any sense. We were just like taking turns being the different heroes and stuff. Let's see, I remember like a lot of the classic shows were involved in that, and it was like Chris 10, Simeon 10, other 10s I can't remember the name of. Yeah, actually, Chris 10, when I first saw it, that was something that I thought was really impressive, because, you know, the author, Binkatong, she's just a really good artist, from what I've seen on the wiki, and really on the internet in general. That was actually a big inspiration for me to try and make my art better, because you can go back and look at all the old pages I haven't renovated yet, and they are pretty terrible. And by pretty I mean absolutely. I'm not quite sure how my old series had fans. But it did, and that sort of egged me on to keep making stuff on the wiki, and here I am now. Making stuff on the wiki. Well, for the wiki. Yeah, last I checked, Binkatong had pretty much disappeared from the internet altogether. Like, the last thing I could figure out was a DeviantArt post from 2013. So, no idea what happened to her. But I just felt like I should bring that up, because, you know, this is an art-related video. Okay, let's try and zoom out and get a big picture. I'll do this sometimes. See, probably still need to add in the details, still need to add in the legging details. And no, he's not wearing leggings, I mean just details on his legs. Although, I could put him in leggings. Yeah, that's one of the things you come to realize as you get better at art, is like, you just eventually reach a point where you realize, I can do anything, and no one can stop me. I can put Nicolas Cage onto everything, and no one can stop me. I mean, multiple people should probably be attempting to stop you, but they can't. You're the artist. You can do whatever you want. I once spent an entire evening photoshopping Nicolas Cage onto people. Yeah. It was, one of my finer moments, I will admit. See, scale that down a bit, see, plop it over there, that's just, okay, that pose looks rotated a bit, maybe, I still don't know, perspective, so you can mess with that a bit. Yeah, it just looks even weirder. Okay. And I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this, but I guess I have no choice. Time to put in actual effort. Okay, let's see. Rotate. Plop. Sort of highlight this. Select that, rotate it. Let's see. No, I did shrink it already, I think. Yeah, that hand side is definitely done. And boom, there you go. It went from awkward to sassy. I mean, probably still awkward, but yeah, sassy. Okay, actually, this is not the sassiest alien I've ever drawn. You were probably looking for Shit Answer for that. I mean, Shit Answer is used by Glamtech, which, if you haven't read the finale of Tech 10 Rebooted, you have no idea who that is, so just head to the Shit Answer page and click on the pink one. Just bring that up full size, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's try and put that in. Let's see. Still need the detailing on the legs. Actually, they do have boxes on them for whatever reason. And since this one is more of an angle, I don't really have to draw the downwards line, because that really just wouldn't make much sense. So I'll just kind of draw this a bit longer, like bring it down, an angle like that. And that should work. I think that should... Okay, come on. That should probably finish the sketch. I don't think there's anything else from the initial one I'm missing. So, okay, moving on to line art. Let's create a new layer, call it line art. Line arty. Yeah, sometimes I'll purposefully misspell things to be facetious. Let's see. Let's make sketch. Reduce the opacity so that these lines appear thicker. And something you might have noticed with the renovation project is that, yeah, the lines are a lot thicker on them. That's on purpose to give it more of a cartoony style. Okay, come on. This is supposed to go into the... Okay. This thing is being just annoying right now. It's supposed to... If you drag it over here, it's supposed to just go over there. But it's not, so... Yeah. Okay. This is getting obnoxious. Okay, I'll just move this over here. Okay, there we go, thicker lines. If I had to say I had one problem with GIMP, is that it does occasionally do this glitching out. But really, it's not too often, and for basically what amounts to a free version of Photoshop, it's pretty good. Especially considering Photoshop costs like, what, $500 now? I can't remember the exact price, but it is pretty ridiculous. Oh yeah, sometimes I just cannot get a line right, and I'll have to spend like a whole crap ton of time just drawing and redrawing it. Which I have to say the Control-Z undo shortcut makes a lot easier. I'm not sure what I would do without that shortcut, but it would probably not be very pretty. Okay, and with like the more detailed stuff, such as hands, I do zoom in, and the lines do get a bit smaller. Instead, I try to make them a bit smaller, so I get the thumb detail in there. And like a lot of these sort of nubs you see, I will be erasing when I get to the cleanup section, which is probably going to be the most boring part of this video for you. So, sorry about that, just in advance. And the details, like, not just the detailed areas, but the details themselves are drawn a bit, thinner, if I can. Which is not always, since, yeah, still kind of not good at this whole art thing, as you can probably tell. And, you know, with some lines, it's just hard to tell what you need to do with them, because some are easier to draw up close, some are more difficult. And really, it's just guesswork until you sort of, more of a trial and error thing. Sort of try out whatever you can, see how it turns out. If it doesn't work, try something else. That's 90% of art. Okay. Let's see. Get down to the next torso section. You know, when I was thinking this out, I really thought I would have more interesting things to talk about. I was incorrect, unfortunately. But hey, at least you get to see how art stuff works on my end. Okay, what should I talk about? Let's see. Honestly, like, half the time there is a lot of... I cannot grammar tonight. There are a lot of things I do want to just talk about, and by talk about, I mean shout at the top of my lungs. But the problem is that they're mostly plot details for my series, which people read. Occasionally, a few of them. Anyways, and really, the reason I don't say things, or say those things, is twofold. Like, one is obviously not to spoil anything for them, and two is because plot details do sort of change while writing, because when you're in the middle of writing, sometimes you just get to a point where, oh yeah, this would be a better idea instead of what I had planned. Actually, it's sort of sometimes the same way with drawing, or trying out some different stuff than what you had planned out, like this. And yeah, that doesn't look too bad actually, just the square under it. I'm gonna draw the side. Yeah, angles are kind of a pain to do. But, you know, you gotta do them. That's how you make arts. That's how I make arts. Everyone makes arts differently. And, yeah, that's, it always amazes me just how many different art styles can exist in the world, and, I mean, do exist. Because almost every different art piece you see by different artists has a unique feel to it. And add that to the fact that artists can completely change their own art style to fit or mix and match others. Like, there's just a lot of art styles out there. And, yeah. Elephant in the room with art styles and Ben 10 related stuff. Omniverse. And, okay, that's something I do think I should bring up at some point. Because it did kind of kill the initial Ben 10 franchise, but I'm not entirely sure that's its fault, or... Well, okay, yeah, it was obviously its fault, but whether it was the crew's fault, or just the marketing executives being like, you have to do this, you have to do that to capture the younger crowd. And really, Omniverse was really kind of weird for me because, probably weird for anyone who's seen a bunch of Derek J. Wyatt's previous stuff, like, Transformers Animated and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. I mean, Transformers Animated was, like, I don't know, it was kind of close to Omniverse in tone, looking back at it. But I think it was a bit more dignified, if that makes any sense. Like, there was obviously a lot of respect for previous Transformers continuity, where in Omniverse there was an active attempt to reject previous continuity. And, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, I don't hear a lot of people talking about, but a lot more people should talk about it. Because in my opinion, it is the best Scooby-Doo show, thing, anything. Period. And that's sort of a lofty statement to make, like, oh, it's the best thing? And, that is just my opinion. But, yeah, there are reasons for it. Because it had this overarching plot to it, and, not to give away too many spoilers or anything, but I think it's the only Scooby-Doo series I've seen with an actual body count. Yeah, Scooby-Doo gets a body count. It was a lot darker than previous incarnations, which is why, Omniverse switching from darker tone to lighter tone was kind of weird for me, because, yeah, Derek J. Wyatt does do dark reinterpretations really well from what I've seen. Or maybe that show was just a fluke. But yeah, if you want to see a really good Derek J. Wyatt show, reboots, or whatever, go check out Mystery Incorporated. You will not regret it. And, bleh. Oh wow, that was a weird tone. Yeah, I'll be honest, sometimes my voice just kind of does weird things. But yeah, you won't regret it. That sounds not natural, but better. Of course, my parents are probably upstairs wondering who I'm talking to, because I live right under them. Like, is that kid talking to his loser internet friends again? What friends? Man. My mind is just drawing a blank right now. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Omniverse. So, yeah, I've said in the past, I really dislike Omniverse. Like, really dislike it. When I first watched it, I absolutely hated it. And that's definitely come across in a few of my posts. But, recently, I've gone back and rewatched it, Been like, okay, my fanboy rage has died down. What's this thing really all about? And, kind of physically hurts to admit this, but I actually like Omniverse. Like, it's not nearly as good as Alien Force or Ultimate Alien, but really a lot of the main problems I had with it, I realize I had with Ben 10 in general, really. Like, the biggest thing I like to bring up was lost potential. Like, why didn't they do everything they could with this? And looking back, Ben 10 did a lot of that. Like, Alien X, you remember that whole debacle? It's like, ooh, who's this really cool, built-up alien that they've been really hyping, and then it just turns out it's this reality-controlling guy, which would be kind of interesting if he ever did anything, but he doesn't. And, yeah, that was basically an entire alien slot that was completely useless. So, great. Actually, that's something I do have to give kudos to Omniverse for. I don't like the Alien X redesign looks way too much like the Crimson Chin from the Fairly Odd Parents to me, but I do like that he actually got to do stuff this time around. Especially that fight scene with the Galactic Gladiator. You can tell that the animators or producers or whoever was directing that scene obviously watched Gurren Lagann, which is, if you don't know, this anime about mech battles. And by that I mean it is the best anime about mech battles. It is the best mech-related thing you will ever see. And, yeah, not to spoil anything too much, but, yeah, the face-off with the Galactic Gladiator is very similar to the end fight scene from Gurren Lagann. Obviously not nearly as good, but still good enough to make me go, "This is so cool." I mean, once I realized it, because initially I just looked at it and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Just my fanboy rage consumed me and blinded me. But yeah, that was a really cool scene. Seeing Alien X fighting another reality warper, actually ending up having to use his head. Yeah, Ben having to think to defeat an enemy, instead of just having, like, Rook think up an idea to beat them or something. Yeah, actually, I do... Yeah, another thing I have to give Omniverse credit for, Rook. He was a really good character. He was pretty good at balancing out Ben's really sort of obnoxiousness in this series. And yeah, it does seem like the people around Ben are much better than characters than Ben in Omniverse. Like, even the alternate universe Bens are better characters than Ben. Like, Ben 23... Okay. I know I'm saying this a lot, but yes, I'm giving Omniverse kudos for Ben 23. Actually, all the alternate dimension Bens. Because that was a sort of concept that helped explore ideas that were touched on, but never really explored in the other series, which I thought was really cool, like, Gwen 10, or Fusion Aliens, stuff like that. Okay, okay, that should do it. I think all I'm looking at now is cleanup. And for the cleanup, I do like to use the mouse instead of the tablet, just because I do have a bit more control over that. It doesn't look as good when I'm drawing anything, but when I'm erasing stuff, it's probably the best tool for that. And, like, something I really have to stress with art, it doesn't matter, like, what the resolution on your image is very much. And if there is even a single pixel out of place, by the end of it, you will notice it, and you will hate it. You will just stare at your product for hours like, how could I do this? And usually I can go back and fix that stuff, since I do have the original... I do keep around the original zip files for these, which, actually, come to think of it, I should probably save right now. Oh, come on. Yeah, this is kind of annoying. Let's see. Magnetron. Oh, yeah. Breeze. You can... Breeze is the, if you haven't read Tech 10 Rebooted again, which, first of all, go read that. It came in second for Featured Series of the Year, and was, featured in July? No, November? November? No, I cannot remember for the life of me, but it was featured at one point, probably. And, yeah, so Breeze is one of Marana's aliens from there. And, if you've read her trivia section, you probably already know this, but Yeah, Breeze was the only alien, is the only alien on the wiki to have ever been designed by Tabby, Tabby, part of my username, who is my sister. So yeah, how that all happened was, back in the day, I wasn't old enough to join Wikia, but my sister was, so we made a joint account, named it after things we liked. So I picked Chromastone, she picked Tabby, because she was really into cats, and boom, Chromastone and Tabby was born, but eventually she just sort of moved on and to other stuff, mostly Tumblr, and I just sort of took over the account. Like, yeah, I'm Chromastone and Tabby now. What do I do? And it was basically just like that until she made another account called Clara Watches TV. She kind of went on a rampage and got us both banned, which I didn't actually get banned, just because we share an IP. My address was blocked while she was blocked, which I had to install a proxy to get around, which I don't think would work if I had actually been banned, but hey, you never know. Don't try that at home, kids. The mods will hang me from the streets. Or in the streets. I don't know, maybe Street Master will hang me, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, so, like I said, this is probably gonna be the most boring part of the video. This is just sort of getting into the pixels and making sure everything sort of flows decently. I could have sworn there was something else I was gonna talk about. Well, I don't know, let's go back to the old Tech-10 continuity. Why not? Yeah, so, the original Dethrog. That's sort of off topic, but I'm bringing it up because I want to clarify something, actually. The backstory for him was that he went crazy because the armor he's wearing basically unlocked his full brain structure instead of just the normal 10% that humans use, and just, I even remember arguing in the comments that was, like, legitimately scientific, and just looking back on that now is, because it's terrible. It's terrible science. It's just an old myth by this point. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, we do use 100% of our brains, but not all at the same time. That would be like opening every program on a computer at the same time. You'd basically just cause it to flip out. And, actually, there are points where humans have used 100% of their brains at a single time. They are called seizures, and I can tell you from personal experience that they are not fun for anyone involved. I mean, I didn't personally have seizures. I knew someone that had seizures. Or epileptic is the term. This is not something I want to keep talking about. This is just awkward. So yeah, I guess transition from that to discussing the rebooted Dethrog, which I wanted to give his armor definitely more of the Pharaoh theme, which I never really showed his original armor from the front, but which was mainly because I'm lazy. And I'm probably not going to draw it at any point. But yeah, it did look like, I want to say the original concept was that it looked a bit like, Ben Mummy, or like, from the original series, just that faceplate was the main focus point. Otherwise, it was just kind of generic armor. And, yeah, actually, funny thing about that, since the Throg was like an evil light guy, I was thinking about bringing in another villain at some point to act as sort of a counterpoint to him. Like, you have this light-based Egyptian pharaoh guy that not believes in, but wants to destroy order and stuff like that. And the counterpart I was thinking of was this darkness-controlling sort of medieval queen character that wanted to, just sort of rule the world. Something like that. Sort of act like, opposite counterpart. And, yeah, I think I was originally planning sort of a movie to be done to introduce her in. Like, this would be in an alternate medieval timeline that Tech gets himself stuck in somehow, and he has to find his way back and, like, overthrow the Empire while he's at it, or something. It never really got past the planning stages, because I'm just like, I don't really know about this. And I mean, I guess you guys can tell me if that sounded like an interesting idea or not, but I eventually just decided, like, I have this story I want to tell with, the seasons that's decently consistent, so probably want to keep it more focused than anything. On that than anything, I mean. Grammar. Words. Not doing too well right now, because, as I said, it is late at night at the moment. And a lot of you have probably been like, well, why did you record this late at night? Why are you so stupid? I'm like, well, first of all, you're making some pretty harsh judgments, imaginary people, in my head. Secondly, this is just when I thought of doing it. Plus, there's also the small issue of pretty much any good art inspiration I get happening at night when I should probably be sleeping, which is apparently an issue for a lot of artists, from what I've read. Okay, let's erase that. Yeah, this is probably one of the longer segments, chunks, not sure what to call it, just because I want to make sure that it looks, clean, polished, which a lot of my old material did not. It is something I am eternally embarrassed over. Whatever. I'm just sort of implicitly, blindly trusting that all this is getting recorded. It might just be me talking to myself, like, without any point. Which I do occasionally do, but not really this much at all. So, I just hope this actually works, otherwise I'm going to feel really stupid. But hey, at least I'll have gotten more of the renovation project done while I'm at it. So, yay me. Why did you guys let me start a YouTube channel? This was a terrible idea. Yeah, I am, actually did bring this up, I think, in either the chat or the blog post, but yeah, I am, considering doing reviews. And I think they're just mostly going to be of Omniverse to start out with. Because there is a lot about that series I want to talk about. And, there is a lot about it to talk about. If that makes any sense. Because it really is a kind of a weird, oddball series, because on some parts it's not nearly as good as some people say, and on other parts it's not nearly as bad as some people say. Like, the art style, I know, is really controversial. Like, a lot of people are like, either love it or hate it. Personally, I initially really didn't like it. And now I still don't like a few of the designs, like Big Chill. The original purpose of his design was to be based on the Mothman legend. So, of course, he was going to be skinny and ghost-like. Why did you turn him into, like, a beefcake? What was the reasoning behind that decision? But, I think overall it was an improvement, because we did get a lot of variation in the body styles for aliens, which is something that bothered me in the Alien Force and Ultimate Alien series, because they never really put in any effort to make aliens look really that much different from their Omnitrix counterparts, which always struck me as kind of weird, because it's like, not everything would look the same like that. And yeah, Omniverse did sort of fix that with all the different body types it introduced. And yeah, actually that is one thing, another thing, I'm getting off topic again. Another thing about Omniverse I did like was, they did show, the aliens from Ken 10 that were mentioned, but we never actually got to see. That sounded interesting. Like, they got, I think, the only ones, I guess, were Topic and Atomics, but hey, to be fair, those were like the two most interesting aliens that were mentioned. Actually, I'm not sure any other aliens were mentioned, but yeah. 'Cause it's like, Kenny was the one to bring both of those up, and we're like, who are those guys? Are they cool? Are they not cool? Well, kind of sucks that we don't get to see them. I guess they're just a joke. Passing on. Moving on. Yeah, we actually get to see him, and, well, I'm not sure what I expected from Topic, but he's marginally more useful than I expected. Just being able to scare people because he's so ugly. And Atomics, initially I didn't care for him, but rewatching the series, I really like Atomics. Because just that goofy superhero accent and, the Dragon Ball Z kind of power-up, which I still find weird, because, the Hamina 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 is supposed to be a reference to the Kamehameha, but it just sounds like, that one guy's Hamina 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 from, I can't remember what show it is, but it was like, all I can think of when I hear that is, like, that one guy, seeing, like, some hot lady. It's like, whenever I hear that, it just never sounds cool, it just sounds silly, basically. But hey, Atomics himself is pretty cool, so I guess that makes up for it. I need to fix that. Okay, are we good? We good? Yeah, we good now? Can I move on to the interesting part? And I swear there is an interesting part. Just bear with me. See, sort of shrink the canvas size to make it more focused. Sort of try to land on multiples of 5 just to make it easier to manage with the pixel size for the canvases. Well, whatever. And so sort of recenter that to make it look a bit better. Yeah, okay, that works. Okay, and now, the fun part, coloring this stuff. New layer, color. And, okay, so let me tell you something that made me feel really, really stupid. Initially. So, when I first started coloring in GIMP, whatever, I selected the pencil tool, and, I just hit that, and click that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and, just did that until I filled out the whole outline, which could take, an hour, because of how, complex some of the outlines could get. But then I discovered I could do something way better, and felt like an idiot for not doing it. Click, 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 click. So yeah, right now I'm just highlighting the areas I want to be the same color. Let's see. I think this I'm going to be using for more sort of the heavy, normal armor. Okay, so, you have that, and if you want to fill it in right now, it would just look like that. Bad, But there is the handy-dandy Grow Selection tool, which you can just grow the selection with. Pretty self-explanatory there. Whoops. There we go. Boom! Instant color. Now we just choose a lighter gray for these other parts. And oh yeah, I kind of forgot to do the hands with the other color. It's pretty easy to do. Okay, I can't select that. I have to go and manually do that. But yeah, one thing that makes the thick lines on the renovation project aliens handy is that the color, you can expand the selection quite a bit without worrying about going outside the lines. Because there is a decent amount of space between them to work with. So, okay, let's get this thing again. I might as well keep that in the back for later. And select the hands. Grow. 3. And fill. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so what about all the parts I left unfilled? Well, those are, this is magnetron, so those are gonna be the magnets. Sort of give them a bit more metallic look, instead of the super vibrant thing he used to have going on. I'll probably make, let's see. Maybe the left side red and the other side blue. Fill that. Wrong layer. Fill that. Yep. Click, click. And whoops. Click, click. Okay. We good? We good. Like, grow and fill. Now, he doesn't have any of those, glaring, bright colors sticking out at you. Well, he will once I fill in the eye, but, that's sort of intentional. Okay, now we just go into color and fill in any spots that the selection missed. It's probably handy to remove the background layer for this. This makes it a bit easier to see with the checkerboard in the background. Yeah, usually these are going to be in crevices like this. So you have to sort of be a bit careful when you're combing through, make sure you get everything. Because it won't be noticeable on most backgrounds, but definitely on a few. Like, see, for this guy, do hot pink. Yes, hot pink. And, yeah, the only thing I really see left, which is probably not actually the only thing left, was the one I see in... I am really bad at this. But, yeah. So, just gotta do that. Does this one need doing? Nope. We should be good for that. Okay, so... not my favorite redesign, but, you know, it works. Still better than the original and the original redesign. You know? So... So, you might be asking, where's the Omnitrix symbol? Or Ultimatrix symbol in this case. Oh boy, this again. Yeah, I don't care. Not sure. Okay, I'm not sure why it keeps doing this. I'll just go into open then. So yeah, little secret. I am incredibly lazy. So instead of redoing the Ultimatrix symbol each and every time, I just go into Renovation Project, Gym Projects, and open up Electrolyte. See, where is he? There we go. See. Activate the symbol cutout layer. Get that. And then just create a new layer for that. And something I have taken to doing lately is giving the symbol sort of a surrounding to it. First, just scale this down to good size. Okay, and it looks decent. Copy, and we go down, we hit Control V, and then we sort of make that bigger. See if that, yeah, it should work. We go over here, hit blank, hit reset, get just this all filled in, and then we pick a higher thing, no, color, lighter color, words, and we sort of expand this until it fills in the circle a good amount, and boom, we have sort of the background. Boom! Actually, I'll just move this over here and use the perspective. No. Select this and then use the perspective tool to make it look different. Okay, so just sort of tinker this a bit, pull it towards how sort of the alien looks. Actually, probably gonna need to shrink this a little bit. Let's see, and there we go. Just merge it down into a single symbol layer. It looks a lot better. So yeah, the finished magnetron. I could go in and add shading, but well, it wouldn't really be consistent because I am lazy and do not like doing shading. So, I will just export this. Oh yeah, I still have the rebuy picture. I've accidentally exported it into the wrong place. Okay, Gym Projects. What am I doing? Renovation Project. Yes. Just save in here. And, yeah, that's how I do the arts. I really hope this was recording the whole time, otherwise I will feel really... Okay, how do I stop this? Stop.